Hello, everybody. Good evening. As usual, it's 9 p.m. here in Ireland, in the UK. It's Wednesday, and it's time for our Spiritual Light show. As we informed everyone last week, this month we will talk every week regarding to a Kardec, one of the Kardec's book. And of course, if something happens throughout the week, and it's important to understand what happened and to understand it from the spiritual view, we will change the subject or we will add it to our discussion on next Wednesday. And today, as you can see, we are not alone. We do have a special guest, Guilherme Dias. Guilherme is from Brazil, but he lives in the UK. He studied mediumship for a long time. And our topic today is mediumship without mystery, understand spiritual communication. So we invited Guilherme to be here with us and share and do exchange of knowledge in regarding to mediumship. So feel free to ask any questions to us. And as usual, I do have my counterparts here. Good evening. Good evening, first of all. Good evening, Guilherme. How are you, my friend?
Good evening. Not too bad at all. Happy to be here.
Good. Ms. Gibbons, good evening. You're on mute, my dear.
Yes, I'm off now. Good evening to you and Charles and Guilherme and everyone who's be with us today. It's always a very important subject. Mediumship is really important, and it's something that we needed to study and to learn. And so I'm really happy to be here, and I hope that everyone joins in, asks question, make a comment. Nice ones.
Yeah. Bonsoir, Charles.
Bonsoir, Stevan. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Again, happy to be here. Happy also to be together with our friend Guilherme. We are working a lot on mediumship, isn't it, Guilherme, on several aspects. So let's try to share a little bit some of this basic information with you all.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. So, as I said, today we will explore the Medium's book, where Kardec explains the mechanism, the purpose, and challenge of spiritual communication. As Silvia said, mediumship is a powerful, but one of that comes with responsibility and deep spiritual meaning. Together, we will try to demystify and make this a simple topic and better understand how we can approach it with care, clarity, and purpose. Okay, so I will kick off our first question, and since we have Guilherme here with us, so Guilherme, what is mediumship according to Allan Kardec, and who can be a medium?
Let me try to answer that in the simplest way as possible. What is mediumship? Mediumship is a sensibility that we all have. The degree of that sensibility depends on the individual. One can feel a little bit more than another one. But to a certain degree, we all have a sensibility that here we are calling mediumship. The mediumship that we all have can be seen so many different ways. But as Kardec said, we all are mediums to a degree. The point that is important is to define, or at least to discover, what kind of degree we have. But we all have dreams, don't we? So if you do have dreams, we potentially may have an exercise to do to discover a little bit more if we do have some of those sensibilities we're talking about. And who can be a medium? We all are mediums. We can use the mediumship, then is a different thing, because then we have to go a little bit further. We need to understand a bit better what mediumship is. But we all are mediums.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Guilherme. Ms. Gibbons, would you like to compliment or share your thoughts, please?
No, not at the moment.
No? Okay, good. Okay. So, Charles, my friend, how can we discern between trustworthy and deceptive spirits in communication?
Good point. So I think maybe if I may complement a little bit or build on what Guilherme just said, mediumship is not new. It's not an invention from Spiritism, from Kardec or whoever. Mediumship is a natural faculty of humankind, so it exists since humankind exists on the earth, And there are examples of mediumship in the antiquity, in Egypt, in Moses was a medium, and Jesus, and a lot. Joan of Arc. There are always have been mediums. The thing is, it was somehow. Hello, Elsa. Welcome. It was somehow mystified, There was even the Moses prohibition. Moses prohibited communication with spirits. But why did Moses prohibit this? Because the Hebrew needed strong authority to be disciplined or disciplined. Whatever, I think you understood what I mean. And there were already at that time people taking opportunity of this mystification. Sorry, Silvia?
It's disciplined.
Disciplined, yes. There were already some people abusing of mediumship, abusing about the credulity of other people. So Moses prohibited it 3,500 years ago. And today you still have people mystifying mediumship and abusing of people who with credulity, or even people who has mooring or in difficult situation. This type of practice continue, and that's one of the key element Kardec brought for the mediumship. It's to demystify the mediumship. What is it? What is it not? What can we do with it? What can we not do with it? Several other questions, I think, that we will talk about a little bit further on. But Stevan, you asked me how can we distinguish what type of spirit is communicating to us with the mediumship. But for this, without willing to escape, I would like to hand over to our dear sister Elsa, who's just joined us.
Just in time. Hello, dear Guilherme. It's so nice to have you here. I run a lot to be here right now, from one link to another link. Easy that. Hello, Charles. Hello, Silvia. Hello, Stevan. Hello, my dear audience. It's so nice to be here once again, especially with this wonderful subject, mediumship without misery. Understand spiritual communication. And if I can contribute with something, as I think there is a question about if you can really trust the communication that the spirits are giving to you. Nice, Stevan, that you said something like that.
Mhm.
And easily I can say that the moral character of the spiritist message, according to Kardec, the content of the message is the most important indicator. You can see, you can read, you can reflect, and you can see if really the message is something that can add good things in your life. Right? Trustworthy spirits promote kindness, humility, charity, and truth. They give logical, clear, and useful information that aligns with moral progress and universal good. Deceptive or lower or um, spirits, that the lower grade, may flatter, incite pride, fear, or vanity. We can say ignorant spirits. They can be contradictory, overlie verbose, or focus on superficial or sensational topics. The language of the spirits always reflects their level of moral and intellectual advancement. That's it for now because I don't know, because I just arrived, so to my contribution, but I can listen more. Guilherme.
Stevan, I would like to send a question back. How can we define an incarnated spirit if he is trustworthy or not? Because there's no difference, really. As we are careful to define who are those we can trust on earth, same kind of attitude we should have towards the spirit world. Here on earth, we have some more facilities to identify who we can trust or not, but we don't trust somebody the first time we see them, do we? I don't think so. We give a little bit of time, we share some experiences, we have common ground before we define if we trust or if we don't trust that person. On the spiritual world, it's the same, because we have to remember that we are all spirits. So the basis is the same, the spirit that we are. So we need to give the same kind of thought, same kind of, how can I explain that? The same kind of actions we take to define if someone is or not. We should also be given world, because it's very easy from them to try to deceive us, as Elsa said. So we need to increase our vigilance. We need to increase even the amount of questions we're going to do to define if we can trust them or not. But one thing that definitely will define if they are trustworthy or not is the result of what they do. If they are promoting something, if they are suggesting us to do something, by the results of what they are suggesting or telling us, we'll be able to identify if they are trustworthy or not.
And yeah, and also I like to compliment because it's we do have our part as well, because how we are connected, how is our vibration, which kind of spirits we are attracting to ourselves, which kind of thoughts are we having on our daily basis. So you cannot expect to receive a very well high message if your actions here on earth do not concur with this level of spirits. So we need as well to do our homework. We need to to keep ourselves up to date with our readings, practicing our charity and fraternity, trying to be less selfish, trying to to practicing the beep, isn't Charlie? We needed Charlie's. We needed to. We needed to do our homework because we do attract any kind of spirits, and we do have spirits either for good, either for bad. Okay.
We have to remember that none of us, we are perfect. So eventually we'll have good and not that good spirits around us. And by the suggestions they may be given to us, we have to have the ability to interpretate and even to project what are the possible consequences of what they are telling us or suggesting us to do.
Yeah.
So it is a constant exercise, because even though if we do our best, if we are trying to follow the more of Spiritism or Jesus, eventually we will fail because we are not perfect. And when we fail, even if for moments, we are giving the opportunity for those spirits that are not that elevated to come closer to us. So it's up to us to identify what kind of thought we have, what kind of suggestions we are be given.
Yeah. Miss Gibbons, you are very quiet, my dear. I'm worried.
I am listening. One listens and then one speaks.
Okay. So, saying that, so Ms. Gilbert goes to you. What are the ethical responsibilities of mediums and spirits groups when practicing mediumship?
Wow, this is the mother of all questions, isn't it? Going from what everyone is saying. I think first and foremost, as was explained, we are all medium. Some of us have more extensive mediumship than others, but we are basically spirits. And I think for those who are listening to us, and we are discussing the medium's book. So if you go to question 159 on chapter 14, we said, who is the medium? And everyone and the answer from the spirits was everyone who is in any degree influenced by the spirit, by this very fact, a medium. So even though we don't, everyone have a valid. So when we decide to go into mediumship work as itself, we decided to go into a mediumship, after reading and studying, and if you have mediumship, it doesn't mean that we are going to join a mediumship group. You have first to control and to be able to, in a way, have a hold of the mediumship, because you have to be prepared, and you are first and foremost working for yourself in this life, and mediumship is a gift that's given to us so we can do extra work and help the spirits. And so I think first thing is study, learn, and as was mentioned before, to cultivate good thoughts, have a kind of the most moral good living that we can have, and to embark on the work of mediumship. It demands a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication, a lot of study, and a desire to really help people. And I personally think that a lot goes as well with a little humility, because we are doing a work helping others, but we need the help as well. So a lot of the message that will come from the spirit will first and foremost be for the mediums themselves. it's not for that one person out there. It's first for us. We're receiving messages about how to be good, how to be more charitable, more understanding. So first is for us. So it demands a lot of study, a lot of and commitment. Is not something that, oh, I don't feel like going today, I'm not. Oh, I have a party and I'm not going. No, once you embark on the work of mediumship, unless you ill or something exceptional happens, you need to be there every week at a time and well prepared for the work that will come. And I just wanted to point something out here, because I think we are here in this group discussing mediumship according to Spiritism. Like, as Charles pointed out, mediumship is part of humanity, is inherent to man. We are all mediums, and is being on Earth and in other planets as well, as long as there are human beings there. So it's just been known throughout history, and there have been famous mediums. Most of the saints were mediums, but in Spiritism, first and foremost, mediumship is a gift that is given to us as an opportunity for our own growth and spiritual development. Also, we follow one of the basic teachings of Jesus, which is you give for free what you receive for free. So mediumship within Spiritism, you don't get paid. It's not a profession. It's something that you do for love of humanity, for love of and desire to do good. And you do it with complete dedication. It's not a profession. We don't get paid for any work in mediumship within Spiritism. And I think it's very important, because also, we're not can all give messages to people and they pay you for that, or it's not like that. The work is very closed. There is a kind of what you call rescue work. It's almost like a therapy session between us, the person and the spirit. The facilitator of a mediumship group will talk to the spirit, will hear what they have to say, and try to help them to see to help them to see their own way out. So in many ways, it's like a therapy session, and it's a work of love and education, and it's not a profession. And I think this differs very much how many people understand mediumship, because people are mediums. They feel they give their hour, their time, and they need to be paid for this. And in Spiritism, there is no such a thing as being paid for work that we are given for. We are the ones who benefit the most from it. So I think that's a very important point in relation to how mediumship is understood in many different places. But within Spiritism, it's very, very, it's something sacred. Actually, there is a quotation from Divaldo, the medium Divaldo Franco, that he says the moment of a mediumship group is a sacred moment, is a connection to the spiritual world, is a connection with God and with the superior spirits. So it's for us, is something very, very special. It's sacred. And I think that's how we see it.
That's a very good, valid point, my dear. Thank you. It's well spotted. And these comments you just said triggers with another questions we can say for Charles, for example. And I can ask Charles, what are the dangers of unprepared and misused mediumship? You're on mute, my friend.
Here we are. Mediumship is a tool, and as a tool, it is neutral. It depends on each of us what use we do with the tool. We can do good use or we can do bad use. Okay. And mediumship is even, I would say, more delicate because, as you told at the beginning, Stevan, depending on the mindset and the intentions we have, we are attracting, by the law of affinity, law of attraction, spirits with a similar intention. You know, if we had good intentions, we will attract good spirits. If we have bad or other type of intention like curiosity or just have fun or things like this, you will attract spirits which are in the same way. So mediumship is a kind of an amplifier, you know. When you have bad thoughts, you can have spirits with other bad thoughts come and amplifying these bad thoughts and put you in a real vicious circle. And sometimes it gets complicated. It means the spirit is getting influence over the medium, and the medium, how do we tell that in English? It's called obsession. Huh? And even the medium can get fascinated. And in the worst case, when the spirit has if the medium doesn't react, if the spirit can get a very heavy control over not only the mind, but also the physical body of the medium. So indeed, it's not something for gambling. Huh? It's not something for amusement. We have to be careful, knowing exactly these dangers of the mediumship. One thing we must say, Guilherme told it very well at the beginning, amongst incarnated, amongst living persons, it's the same. Do you trust in anyone you see in the street? Or do you think that when you go to a place where, I don't know, there are some bad things being done, you will find there good persons? You will not. And this bad person may also take influence on you or make even starting some violence with you. So what is true in the physical world is true even more in the spiritual world, or in the interrelation between the spiritual world and the physical world, which is mediumship. So yes, we have to be careful. And that's why one of the bases why Silvia explained very well, Spiritists, we practice the mediumship only for doing good, not for curiosity, for doing good, helping spirits, helping living persons, solving sometimes these problems of fascination and obsession, as I just mentioned, and also for getting some learning, some instructions or advices from the spirits. That's it. Never for curiosity, never for, I don't know, black magic or stuff like that, only for doing good. So this, yes, we have to be careful. And then the second aspect is, when you read the Medium's book of Kardec, this is extremely well explained. Yeah? And before practicing something, it's good to study first the thing. What is mediumship? What are the dangers? What it is for? What it is not for? And so on. It's absolutely necessary to know this. Otherwise, if you start just practicing without knowing, it's like I give you, okay, here is a plane, go and fly. Huh? I'm not sure you will fly very far away. Huh? Or you tell to your child of 5 years old, take the car and drive in London downtown. It's very dangerous. You cannot do that. So it needs maturity. It needs also knowing about what mediumship is and what is not. It needs knowing what Elsa explained. How can we differentiate between good intentioned spirits and bad intentioned spirits? And then, even in a group with several people, this is also why we spiritists do not advise to practice mediumship alone, but only in group. Why? Because one person can easily be cheated. A group is even more difficult. And if this group maintains relations, trust relation with other groups, then it's very, very difficult even for very intelligent spirit with bad intentions to manipulate the group, you know. So these are the precautions we have to take. We have to know about the dangers of the mediumship before starting practicing. And of course, when we misuse it, one danger is obsession, as I just told. Another possibility is simply you lose your mediumship. You know, mediumship is something that sometimes we have, sometimes depending on the age. Sometimes it comes when you are 50. Sometimes, like Chico Xavier, for instance, as a child had already mediumship. Sometimes as a child you have it, and then after a certain age you don't have it anymore. So it's not it's a faculty which may be subject to intermittence, so you can lose it. And the last aspect to add to this is, what about your conscience? You have you receive a faculty to be used that can be very helpful to help a lot of people, and you didn't do it. You used it for stuff, for curiosity or even for earning money. One day we will go back to the spiritual world, and there we will be face to face with our own conscience. Hey, what did you do with the talents, with the faculty you had on the earth? How many people did you help? And that's then heavy for our own conscience. And even through mediumship, we sometimes receive communications through people who were medium, who misuse the mediumship, but they have very profound and deep regret not having used the mediumship in the correct way for doing good.
Perfect. Perfect.
Charles, there's something you said that made me thinking. There's the theory part of mediumship, and by far the safest and the best reference is the Medium's book. And there is always the second part of it, that's the practice. We may learn the theory through the studies, through the Medium's book, and a few others books that are also very good as well. But how to control or how to deal with mediumship will only come through practices. And then we need to find safe to allow beginners to feel safe and comfortable to start to develop their mediumship. You will not learn how to control your mediumship in a book. You will learn how to control your mediumship with the practice, with the safe practice. So you need to always give the incentive to study always, for the beginners, for the intermediate, and for even those that feel they know everything, because nobody knows everything. Mediumship is a kind of contract that you just signed that you need to study through your life and the practice. Because there's a lot of situations where we see a lot of people speaking about mediumship, but lacking practice. And when we walk side by side, they study and the practice, then you have enough information, you have enough data, if you like, to allow you to evaluate what can you do, how can you do to get better, to help others better, and not to fall sometimes into traps like deceiving spirits, obsessions, as you mentioned. You know, both need to work together, in my opinion.
Exactly, and even because every medium, every case is a case. Every medium is different. There are some groups, some classes, as Kardec explains it very well, but then each medium is different from the others. So it's true that only through practice we can know better ourselves, because it's about this. The medium can know better about himself.
And there are some situations where we need to speak to our benefactors, asking for their instructions. How can we deal with that kind of mediumship? that person in particular is showing something that we never saw, we never witnessed. So we need to work hand with our benefactors, because that will also guarantee success in this endeavor, I would say.
Yeah, wonderful discussion. Elsa, would you like to compliment something?
In my case, as sometimes I can act as a medium when I participate in the mediumship meeting, that I hope I return soon. It's very important that we know ourselves as a medium, and there's a responsibility that we have in order to deliver a proper message, and be careful what we are saying, because we have to have our filter in our mind, because our conscious mediums can visualize both sides, listen the spirit, transmit the message, but filter the message accordingly to the situation. And when we feel as a medium, we can feel ignorant spirits. So they try to communicate. They try to sometimes diverse our idea to another way, saying that I am a Napoleon. I want to say things regarding blah blah blah. We know immediately that we can really cut this message, because the spirit that can bring no good message, no good things to really make comfort or clarify things or add a good things. We have a lot of mediums, a lot of messages, but the most important is, as a medium, to be truthful and help discarnated spirits that are in danger, that are with fear, or that they don't know that they are already dead, and try to be really a good and humble medium in order to add something new in the messages. And I have friends that they are spiritualist mediums, not spiritist mediums, but they have their life. They don't study as we study the medium's book, as we have this course that Guilherme in Charles, more than 2 years are delivering this course, very nice course, mediumship course, study medium's book, and preparing included spiritualist mediums. Now, of course, they know now how to be a good medium now, how to disguise or how to understand when the spirits are not good one or ignorant one, and try to mystify the message, etc. But I have friends, they are spiritualist mediums, they have their lives different of our lives, and they sometimes they give a good communication that makes sense. According to Kardec, have the common sense, have it to be a good message, and the messages are good. And the way that is done, sometimes I said, "Oh, how this could be possible? If we study and we practice and we prepare ourselves really free of charge, our courses, you don't need to pay to be a good medium, to understand what's going on, and to deliver a good message, or at least to contribute to relieve the pain of these spirits that they are discarnated ones. So they need to go to the light, they need to go to the right place. If a spirit come and say to me, I want the medium say a message to my friend, to someone in other places, and give them names and addresses or etc. This is a truthful medium, a truthful spirit, so that we can help in this way as well. Although we are not the postman or postwoman, but we act as when we have, because Chico Xavier did a lot about this one. And also, the importance really to be reliable and responsibility with our time as a committed medium can can help us to be safe from these ignorant spirits, because immediately we can feel the ambient, we can feel the fluids, and we can really learning in each meeting that we can do. Wait a minute.
Good, good. Thank you, my dear Elsa. Thank you. Thank you. Also, I want to say good evening to Munir. Hello, Munir. Good to have you here. Munir will be with us not the following week, the week after next week. Realia Home. Good evening, my dear. Yan, good to have you here, Yan. And Lou VM. So, good evening, Lou. So, also, I reinforce, guys, we only have 20 minutes. So if you do have questions, please let us know. Otherwise, we are going to wrap up this discussion here today.
Stevan, I would like to say something. I think mediumship, as Kardec said, is something natural, right? And it is organic. So that means we all have, in certain degrees, of course.
Yeah.
So we need to create facilities to allow people to get closer, to learn, understand, and practice mediumship. And sometimes I have the impression that because we want to be so careful, we, instead of creating easy access, we create exactly the opposite. We make things very difficult to allow people to get closer. So I'm not saying that we need to do anything or things without method, not at all. But we need to allow people to get closer. And quite often we see people coming to us saying, well, we didn't have the opportunity to do this before. And I ask myself, why not? Because Kardec himself, he gave all the incentive, and the Medium's book is a prime example, to people to know how to do it safely. So why are we creating difficulties instead of open doors and windows to people to get access to this information and to the practice? Not only that, we need to give incentive to people that are younger than us, right? Not just giving access to people that are 50s and above. No, having method, having a safe place to allow younger generations to get closer. And we don't see that very often. This is something that perhaps will be very positive, because if we believe in everything we say about the world is changing, new generations are coming, why we are not helping them to get closer to mediumship? We had examples of young people coming closer to us, and they had mediumships that we could not even identify exactly what it was. We had to go to the benefactors to ask, is this really mediumship or not? So we need to give them access, and we need to learn with them. We need to prepare. We need to prepare the way for them. And sometimes I feel like we are not doing it. Sometimes I feel like we are following what we always did. We are following what we believe is right and not giving the support for the younger generations. I think it's something that could be very positive. Perhaps not in our time, but perhaps what is coming.
Well, very well said, Guilherme. Yeah, it's
and Stevan, I would even add this elitization of mediumship, or even prohibition, or have it only for initiated people. We have lived this during centuries, millenniums, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And one also big new way to see the thing is it's just something natural. Some people, they have mediumship, they don't know even what it is. They hardly find information about it. When they go to psychiatrist, the psychiatrists think they may have some disturbance, while they don't have any disturbance. It's just a natural faculty. So it's not something to be elitized or reserved only for initiated people. Kardec really encouraged to have the maximum democratization of the mediumship. Of course, with care, of course, not to do anything with it. I mean, when you go out to the street, you cross the road, you have to have discipline. So the same when you practice mediumship. I mean, if you would forbid everything which presents a danger, we wouldn't do anything anymore.
No, you don't drive.
But of course, when you know that when you cross the road, there are cars or the traffic light, whatever, you know mediumship, you know what to do, what not to do. You know how to detect up front when some bad influence is coming or whatever. And with these tools, it's just to be democratically used. Because again, mediumship, as I think Jan made a comment in the chat, which is very interesting. Excellent opportunity to learn more. Mediumship is one of the power of our souls. We are in contact with spiritual mentors, with good spirits, including our personal spiritual mentors that everyone has. So it is something natural that we can use for good. So why should we refrain? What should we reserve this only for elites? And Kardec is clearly writing, you have good people with mediumship and you have bad people, they have the mediumship as well, because they can learn from that mediumship. You have rich people, you have poor people. God does not make any discrimination and difference between anyone with regards to this faculty. So that's the realities of this natural law, which is called mediumship.
The Spiritist movement, they speak a lot about charity. Quite often, when the medium needs to be well received, welcomed by the Spirit Center, sometimes they do not find an open door. Sometimes when the medium arrive in need of practice, learn how to control here the mediumship, sometimes they don't find support. Worse, if they are teenagers, if they are younger generations, sometimes we not do anything here. No. We need to revisit what really charity is in regards to mediumship, because we see more and more younger generations coming with mediumship, the Spiritist Center, and if we are not prepared as a Spiritist to help them, who will? We need to rethink how we will help the younger generations, how we are preparing ourselves to help them. How many people come to us saying, well, we went to group A, B, C, D, and they told us to look after something else. How many times that has happened? I'm not talking about a specific country, because we've seen that in the UK, we've seen that in Brazil and elsewhere. Why? Because we are not prepared ourselves, a medium, as indoctrinators, or as someone that is willing to help in the name of Spiritism. We speak a lot about charity, but we sometimes do not receive them, do not welcome them. I would ask, why is that? Are we afraid about mediumship? Are we not studying enough about mediumship? Or don't we have enough practice to help someone that is in need? Could be many things, but we need to rethink about the future. Maybe not for us now, but for those young generations that are coming. How can we help them?
Yeah,
I think something to think about it.
I think here I agree with what being said to by Guilherme and Charles, to a certain extent. I think sometimes we do have barriers, not only for young people, but people actually with experiences, but for one reason or another, they didn't continue or something happened. And it's very much a part that sometimes we find closed doors, and it's like really bad doors, they never open. And that's the problem. Sometimes, things can be too restrictive. On the other hand, having said that, I think mediumship is a very serious business, very serious, at least for me anyway, for what I understand from the studies of these books and Emmanuel and Andrea Louise and all the other literature that we have. Young people, some of them are serious, and I think they can quite easily come to a group and study. And I think one point that you made, Guilherme, before is through practice, because you can't sort of just learn in the books, and you can't. It's just really by working that you put into practice what you've learned and understand much more what you have studied. And also there are many types of mediumship as there are people. So it's only through the work that we learn what kind of mediumship we have, how can we be used, and all sorts of things. And it's only through the work. I think that if you have young people and they are serious and they want to commit to the work, because I don't think you can have, I don't feel like going today because I'm going to a party. Mediumship doesn't work like that. It's a serious business. We can get into trouble. Also, I think there must be a filter for who actually is allowed to get into a mediumship, because there are people who have a mediumship, but they are very troubled. They don't know how to control it. And, a lot of the mediumship, people have serious trouble. They are completely unsure, they are completely dominated by certain spirits. And they can't get straight into a mediumship group because it's not there to help. They need first to learn how to control their mediumship, because I don't think you develop mediumship. You either have it or you don't. You have certain types of mediumship, certain things that you are able to do. And then you need to work and see how you work. You are a writing medium or a trance medium, whatever, and so many different types. But I don't think someone could just come and just join. They need first to come to the meetings, to show that they have some level of dedication to the work, that they want to learn more and to learn to control the mediumship and everything. I think the courses and studies that you have to do, not forever. I mean, I'm completely against, being there for 5 years and no group ever comes out of it. I mean, I think it's a waste of time, and it happens so much. But you have to have at least some control of what mediumship you have and how you're going to behave. And you have to be ready to be committed to the work. I think this is very important for the mediumship group, to train the facilitators, to train the people who maybe don't have ostensive mediumship, but they are as important as the medium in a mediumship group, because they'll be praying, they'll be sustaining the ambient and making things healthier and easier for the medium. So there is quite a lot of work within the medium. It's not just the mediums, but the other people who work in there, the ones who take care, who directs the work. So I think they need to show that they are serious and they are ready to commit to the work. And they are prepared to help out in other things as well. I find that is important, because if you get everyone who comes through the door into the mediumship group, it's going to be a nightmare. I feel personally, my experience.
I've seen a very interesting comment here from Jan. One of the worries about young people is if they are not serious enough for mediumistic work. Should we have the same worries and constraints for adults or older people too? Interesting, his comment.
I like that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And I would like to say one thing. Well, I'm not checking the time. Well, I think I'm almost finishing.
Yeah.
Every case is a case. Every medium is a different case, regardless the age, regardless where they are coming from. Something that has been lost to a certain extent is the ability for the spiritists to discuss freely with the benefactors. We should encourage spiritists to maintain that contact very often with the benefactors. And if we do have a medium coming to our spiritist center, they are totally unbalanced, or we are not able to recognize what is the mediumship or what we can do to help, ask your benefactor. What should we do? What can we do to help a person in this situation? And then, if you're not happy enough with one answer, do what Kardec did. Ask same question, more than one medium, more than one meeting, and get the feedback. And perhaps that will give you the support you need to allow you to better help those mediums that are knocking our doors in need. Because what we cannot do is to close our doors.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
I think just one thing as well, going, if I may, Stevan, that question that Ian proposed there, should we have words about the concern to adults and older people too? Absolutely. That's not a problem of age. A young person can be a lot serious and more dedicated to the work than an elderly person. So it does not apply. It's not a question of age. It's a question of the person and the way they are and what they are willing to do and the dedication and commitment that they do to the work. So it does apply to adults as well. It's not a question of age. A lot of young people, actually, a lot more mature and dedicated and committed than some people who have more years on them, as the case may be.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. It's wonderful.
But
Charles,
I think everyone should really read the Medium's book. Get it. You can get free in the internet and really study. This is the most wonderful thing. It's one of the best things you can read. And you can get it for free. And in many languages, isn't it, Charles?
Yes. Yes, yes. So the International Spiritist Council has, it was in Mexico, the Assembly 2019 voted, okay, all the translation we have, we put for free download. So it's in English, in German, in French, of course, and several other languages. So I fully agree with Silvia. Open it and read it. It can only do good.
yes, yes, and also we do have as us we do have many other people doing their lives. So watch it, send your comments, and we can try to answer.
Yeah,
And
sorry, maybe a question. If they like to, send questions that they would like us to answer, that would be nice, isn't it? Wouldn't it? Because then we could answer the questions that things you want to know. And there is so much to learn, isn't there? I mean, so much to wonderful subject.
As Ian said here, every life, every new thing you go, you an opportunity to learn more.
But that is one thing I think, personally, the more you learn, the less you know, because you learn something and then there is like 10 things extra. And then you learn the 10 things and there is another 20. And it's always learning more and more and more, which is, I find fascinating and wonderful.
And progressing.
Okay.
Next week.
So, my friends, it's 10 o'clock. We need to wrap up. And I want to say thank you. But before giving my bye-bye, let me share my screen and
It's a topic for next week.
to our announcements. Yes. So, next week, our dear friend Dan is going to be with us. And the topic of next week is Living the Gospel, Spiritist Reflections on Jesus' Teachings. So, we will tackle here the Gospel according to Spiritism. So, next Wednesday, 16th of April at 9 p.m. London time. Okay. So, also, between 7 and 8 of June, we will have our 8th European Spiritist Gathering in Finland, in Vakes. Sorry, my Finnish is not great.
Vaxio.
But you see, I knew I said wrong. But so Vaksut. So if you have more, if you want to join us, everyone is more than welcome. Don't need any requirements to join the group here. The meetings will be in English, and will be wonderful to have you all with us. I'm gonna be there. Charles, Guilherme gonna be there. Silvia, she probably gonna be there.
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, she's probably gonna be there. You know, so it's good to have you all there with us. Also, in September, we will have in London the International Spiritist Congress, Joanna de Angelis. It is a wonderful event coordinated uh, by BUS, by Spiritist Institute, and AMI as well. So it's a lot of people working together to give you a wonderful
As a group of Bournemouth as well.
seminar. Yes, Silvia gonna be one of the speakers, and the dates is 12 and 14 of September, and the location is Hertfordshire in England. Hertfordshire.
Hertfordshire.
Hertfordshire. Okay. Also, if you want to receive newsletter regarding to Spiritism in English, please go to Spiritism Institute, write your email, and you subscribe it, and you receive details and updates regarding to Spiritism in English. For the young people, we said today, every Thursday from 6:45 to 7:45 p.m., the Solidarity Group does hold a meeting with young people, and everybody is more than welcome to join the group. If you are interested, please send an email to contact@solidarityspiritistsociety.org.uk, and they're gonna give you the link to join the group. Okay. So this is it from me. This is our announcements. Guilherme, it was wonderful to have you today here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And Silvia, wonderful to have you here as always. Thank you. Charles, merci.
Merci.
And I'll see you all next week.
God willing.
Yeah.
God bless.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, Guilherme. Bye.